Ennui.
Is this gonna... No.
I'm
just gonna do this. Hello.
Is this... Oh. Okay. I like it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna hold it.
Yeah.
It's easier for me. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
How y'all doing today? It's fine. We're good. Thank you. Let's introduce ourselves a little bit.
Sounds good. My name is Landon McDonald. You might know me as the voice of Enmu from Demon Slayer. His master told him to train hard, and he took that literally. He became a train. He's the titular Mugen train. You might also know me as Rampo Ogawa in Bungo Stray Dogs. Vice Captain Hoshina in Kaiju No. 8, which, by the way, Season 2 drops this July, so keep an ear out for us. Yes, indeed. Let's see, I'm Rohan in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Thank you. I'm Kazuki in Buddy Daddies, which is a very cute little show. If you haven't seen it, I would really recommend it. It's only 12 episodes, so very easy to binge, nice and bingeable. And in Jujutsu Kaisen, I play Naruto Shikamo, the bow and arrow guy, and Esso, the guy who looks like a Chippendale dancer. And in Chainsaw Man, I play the future devil. The future rules! Thank you. I'm still learning the dance. I need to learn his dance.
Ooh, there's a dance.
There is a future devil dance. Yes, indeed. But yeah, that's me in a nutshell. Over the years, I've popped up in things like Pokemon, Digimon, Bleach, One Piece, you name it. I've popped up in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think that's all the anime. You named
I think that's all the anime. Oh, and Dragon Ball Daima, which just came out actually. I play one of the main villains in that. I'm Degasu. He's the Supreme Kai's evil brother. Yes. So that's me in a nutshell.
You play a lot of evil characters, I've noticed.
I play a lot of villains. Yeah.
Why is that?
I'm not sure I sound so nice.
He is really nice. Hi, I'm Abby Trott. I voice Nezuko and Shuntaro, Zenitsu's bird, in Demon Slayer. Yes, acknowledge him. I'm also Momo in Dandadan. I'm Annette in Fire Emblem Three Houses. A lot of Fire Emblem fans here. What else? Let's see. I'm Tokiyuki Hojo in Elusive Samurai. Anyone? I'm gonna name some obscure ones. I'm Mutsumi in Mission Yozakura Family. Somebody knows it. What else? I sing the theme song to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Oh, so I got you there. No one knew that. Surprise. Colors weave into a spiral flame. It's true. I also voice Magic in Marvel Rivals. Anyone play Marvel Rivals?
Oh, that's such a fun
And that's enough. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like we should maybe do like a Q&A. What do you think?
Do you guys want to do just a general Q&A?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it.
So if you have a question for them, please line up along this aisle right here. And guys, do me one favor. Despite the fact that it's a hot mic and people can hear you pretty well, please speak up because as you can see, someone is jamming over there in the other room.
Like we're having a conversation in the Viper room or something.
Yeah.
Right. So please speak up so they can hear you over the noise in the other room. Okay. All right, let's go, folks. Line on up.
Let's do it. It is a hot mic, but you shouldn't objectify it like that.
Yeah. Please don't body shake the mic.
Please don't.
Yes.
So this is a Demon Slayer panel, but if you have other questions, we will answer those as well.
Oh, yeah,
So don't feel
absolutely.
limited by Demon
The
Slayer.
parameters are not that strict.
Please bring all your burning Demon Slayer questions to Hi.
Hello there.
Most embarrassing
Most
line?
embarrassing line.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
In Demon Slayer or anything?
Anything.
Oh, that's even harder.
I think I have.
Do you have one?
For Mugen Train, actually. So we will keep it Demon Slayer centric, at least to start with, before we go too far afield. And Lucian Dodge wrote this line, and he knew what he was doing. And I saw it, I was like, okay, all right, we'll go for it. It's when Enmu transforms into the train and he kind of reveals himself. And he says something along the lines of, I can feel you skirting around inside of me like a loathsome parasite. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm sure that'll be fine. And then we got an R rating. I'm not saying that's what caused it, but maybe.
I recently rewatched Mugen Train. I remember that line, and I was like, oh yeah, that did make it in the.
In Japanese, it's saucy, but it's not quite that saucy.
Yeah.
So thank you, Lucian.
I'm having trouble thinking of an embarrassing line. I think it's because as an actor, I have no shame.
It's very important to be shameless.
My most embarrassed line is probably in Don and Don when anyone says the name of a certain actor. I have to react. Never say that name. But yeah, I don't know. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, really good question. Howdy, howdy.
Yeah.
Really likes to come over here. Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Good to be here.
So my question is going to be as someone who's trying to, get into voice acting himself, and who's trying to, I mean, obviously you can put out demo after demo, and as many auditions as you want, but at some point you're going to have to make connections, and if, you can't do the obvious thing of walking up to some well-known voice actor and saying, hey, you take me as your protege. Because I know that they're probably
So you want to know hot tips to get into voiceover and networking?
So, more specifically, networking and the best way to
Let me know.
get a higher chance of auditions, because I can put out as many auditions I want or casting call, but if nothing comes out of it, then there's no.
It's hard, yeah. It is one of those really hard things, and you kind of have to be a little bit lucky on top of trying, your best. But one thing that has helped me is taking classes. That's how I got a voiceover agent, actually, was when I first started taking voiceover classes. I was living in New York. I took a commercial voiceover class, and a few months later, when I decided to move to LA, where I'm now based, my teacher there recommended me to an agent he knew very well who was coming to LA to start at Abrams Artist Agency, which then was A3 Artist Agency, which now no longer exists. Now I'm in CESD. But so that's how I got an agent. So you never know who might know somebody if and it's about, I know there's not a lot you can do to control the impression you make on a person, but try to make a good impression. Try to do your best if you do take a class with somebody, and they might know of an opportunity that might come up for you. I know that some voice actors do teach. I know Cassandra Lee Morris is teaching. I believe she's doing online teaching now. She's very good. I'm sure she's a great teacher. I've never taken her class, but she's very prolific voice actress, so I'm sure her class is great. So just look for those opportunities is what I would say.
Yeah, taking classes is very important. And also, if you're looking for an agent, I would say that commercial demos, prioritize those, even if you want to get into anime dubbing or video games or whatever maybe you want to do. Commercial demos are what makes that's actually what perks an agency or sub. That's what makes them interested in you. And as far as networking goes, just be genuine in your approach. People can kind of see a hustler coming a mile away, And you do have to hustle in this business, but just don't be obnoxious about it, don't be gross about it, because,
Don't be gross about it.
Yeah,
That's good advice,
Yeah, because that reputation can follow you for a long time.
Yeah, Hollywood is full of a lot of hungry people.
Yes.
And not a good one, so, yeah.
Even after Ozempic. Sorry.
Thank you for your question.
Someone said too soon.
Good luck with the video stuff.
Yes, thank you.
Nezuko, you're so cute.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Okay.
My palms are so sweaty right now.
Okay, so I guess my question is, you guys, and it doesn't have to be like a favorite part or like a favorite part
Favorite line? I don't have a lot of lines in Demon Slayer, but one of my favorite moments is when, I hope you guys are all caught up because I might spoil stuff, but when Zenitsu is coming back to the village, in the Swordsmith village, I think it's Swordsmith village arc, and Nezuko is in the sun, and he sees her, and he starts freaking out, and he runs up to her, and she goes,
Welcome home, Inosuke.
and then he loses his mind. It's so funny to me, and Alex Lee is freaking hilarious. I love it so much.
So funny to you.
What? You didn't see that? I spoiled it for you! Oh no, Nezuko doesn't go in the sun. She's sleeping in her box still.
Gosh, for me, well, as Enmu, I would say when he's monologuing on top of the train, and he tends to monologue a lot. He has a lot to say, even if it's to nobody in particular. He's just monologuing.
Nobody's listening.
Yes.
He's just out there.
He's just out there. But it's something along the lines of, to die in the rapture of a dream, a blessing indeed. I'm like, yes, okay, he enjoys his work, maybe a little too much, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, why you got mouths on your hands?
He lives hand to mouth. Yuck, 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 yuck.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah, wonderful question. Absolutely.
Hello.
Hello?
If you could voice like any other character from Demon Slayer, dead or alive, for one day,
Dead or alive. I would say, sorry, my nose is itchy. I have cats, and my cat's hairs find their way onto my face even when they're not.
Even when you travel.
Even when I'm traveling. I think, yes. They're always with me. I think Shinobu would be fun to voice, or Tamayo, the doctor. She's rad as hell. I love that character. I think she's like so cool, and I want to be her.
I would say Doma, probably. That's who Enmu wants to be when he grows up. In fact, I think they were too powerful. That's why they never shared any screen time. They would have been too powerful together. Stephen Fu kills that character, obviously, but yeah, he'd be a lot of fun to voice, though, for sure. Absolutely.
Hello.
Hi.
If you had to be any anime villain for a day, it doesn't have to be Demon Slayer related, who would you be?
Like in real
To
life.
play them or to be them?
To be them? Oh my god. Oh my god. That's such a hard question.
It really is, yeah. Maybe quietly, yeah. Yeah. Gosh, I'll pick one of mine, I guess. Yeah, the Future Devil, Chainsaw Man, because he knows the future. He knows everything that's coming. And so, yeah, that'd be helpful with the stock market and whatnot. Make a killing in the stock market. Let's see. But on the other hand, though, I think that would wear thin, though, after a while, because all the spark would go out of life, all the joy, because part of the fun of life is not knowing what's around the corner, right? And he knows everything that's to come. In fact, I think his nickname should be Spoiler Devil, because he knows all the spoilers. Although, for the most part, though, he doesn't divulge, but it's mostly for his own pleasure. He wants to wait and have the tragedy develop, and he gets front row seats for all that sweet, sweet suffering. I don't know what it is about me and sadistic demons, man. I don't know. When I first got him, I was like, okay, we can't have Enmu 2.0, so I'm gonna make him different. I'm gonna make him sound like a lounge lizard. Or like, you know, he's kind of, he's had a rough go of it, maybe a little too many cigarettes. But yeah, so I would say him for a while, enough to get comfortable financially. And then I would give it up.
I'm gonna say, I cannot think of one. So I'm just gonna say Michael Jackson from Demon Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's super powerful, obviously, but also he's got really good dance moves, so.
He does. He's even got the smooth criminal fedora. It was funny because when Honest Trailers did their Demon Slayer Mugen Train thing, they called the Enmu Michael Jackson. I'm like, maybe a little bit in the voice, but no. Have you met his boss? Come on. He's got the fedora.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Good question.
I just have a question for both of you. Out of all the characters that you played, what's a quote that you really like or you're most resonated with? Something that you resonate with most?
I have done it on the brain. One of my favorite quotes from that show, first of all, I love Momo so much, and I relate to her so much, but one of my favorite moments between the two of them is when Okarun is leaving, and Momo calls after him, because he's like kind of down, like he doesn't think he's ever going to see her again, he has no friends, and then she calls after him, "See you tomorrow," and then it cuts to black, and he just goes, "Okay!" Like the happiest, cutest, like puppy dog voice. I love that so much. It's so cute, and it's so relatable because it's like he was so sad, but then like he's just immediately like his hopes are out there. I love it. Do you have one?
For me, gosh, frankly, it's not just because you're sitting there, but you know, Rampo and Bungo Stray Dogs is one of my very favorite characters. And I love that, you know, despite all of his slyness and his snarkiness, at the end of the day, though, he also really does prize kindness as a virtue. And at one point, he's talking to Erica Lindbeck's character when he's first, you know, kind of welcoming her into the detective agency. And he says something along the lines of, you know, we're not after you for your powers. We want you because you're kind. It's your kindness. That's what we want. And that really, yeah, I'm like, okay, you know, there's more to you than just a snack happy super sleuth. You know, there's more going on there. He's, you know, he contains multitudes. But yeah, I love that little guy. I've gotten to play him for 6 years now, which is crazy. God, where does the time go?
Kindness is to be valued in this world.
Absolutely. Not enough of it.
Hello.
Hi, I just want to say I love your
Oh, thank you.
I was
Eggs.
admiring those earlier.
Eggs. Get some today. No, don't. They're too expensive.
I was thinking of being up here today, but I decided otherwise I basically encouraged
I was gonna say, you're still a simp. You're still cosplaying a simp. But you look fantastic, though. I love your cape.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
But I wanted to ask, do you guys have any headcanons about your characters?
I would say this is one that over the years, every time I see like a plushie of Enmu or Nezuko, I think of this. Even though they don't like each other, even though they're, you know, mortal nemesis, I do think though that they probably go to the same hairdresser. Those highlights are very similar.
That's true. I don't
I wonder.
really have a headcanon for Nezuko, actually. I know there exists a canon. What was that noise? I heard somebody make a noise. But yeah, like, I don't know, when I think of Nezuko, I think of her just as a single woman. We'll see what happens in the future.
Absolutely. Good question. Oh, thank
So
you.
Abby, I was wondering, since Nezuko indeed doesn't have too many lines, how you came to learn to convey, you know, so much of her personality. You know, what's going through your mind to bring her to life with so few lines?
I just think about how much I want to eat people and how I should really not do that. It's bad. So,
It's bad today.
yeah, but no, I just like, there are a lot of muffled noises, as it were, in the script, and when I am voicing Nezuko, who doesn't have words to say, I think about the intention of what she would be saying if she were saying words to try to, you know, get the intention across, even though I'm just a lot. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Alright, so this question is for Abby specifically. You had kind of an interesting foundation into the world of voice acting.
Did.
When you went to Tokyo and voice puppeteering there.
I did.
How has that kind of foundation helped shape your voice acting career overall? And how ironic do you find it that you went from giving puppets voices to voicing someone who famously does not speak?
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, a little bit about how I got into voiceover. I was a theater major, graduated, did not know what I wanted to do specifically, so I entered the JET program, which is a teaching exchange program that sent me to Akita, Japan, where I taught English as an ALT, an assistant language teacher, for 2 years. Then decided, oh man, I wanted to be an actor and a singer, so I should probably get back to that. So I moved to Tokyo, lived there for 4 years, and I was basically gigging, doing whatever I could as an actor, which included doing some children's shows, little musicals that were to teach kids English. And I did some of the voices for the puppets and also the kigurumi, the big characters in costume on stage that people wore. They needed a voice match for some of these characters, so I auditioned and I got the job. And that's kind of where it really clicked for me that, A, I really like doing this, and I think I might be good at it. I knew I had like a long way to go and I had a lot to learn, but I felt like I had a skill, in that direction. So that's when I had kind of decided to move back to the United States, and then I decided to pursue voiceover specifically. So the puppet shows are really what kind of made me discover that voiceover was my jam, I guess you would say. And voicing Nezuko, it's interesting because she is one of the characters I voiced that has the least amount to say as far as word count goes, but she's maybe the most recognized, the character that I'm recognized for the most. So at first, I had a big imposter syndrome, going to special events like this and people coming up and they're so excited about Nezuko, and I felt like, oh, but, I don't know if I'm contributing enough that warrants this attention, But now I realize that I'm a part of this thing that's so special to so many people, and me, it's so special to me too. And it's brought so many opportunities to my life that I never even thought were possible. And I'm very grateful for all of that. And so now I have come to embrace that. And even though I don't have a lot to say, I know that Nezuko, when she does speak, it's very important and very impactful. So I'm here for it. I'm here to share the excitement with everybody, and I am very, very grateful to be part of Demon Slayer. Did I answer the question? Oh. Special delivery. Oh, thank you.
Signature
Oh,
colors.
that's so
Oh,
cute.
that's awesome.
I got a present. Thank you so much. You were a two. Which one would you want to reincarnate into? These open-ended questions are killing me. It's like whenever people ask these questions, I cannot think of anything, and then I leave the panel and I'm like, oh, why didn't I say that? That would have been. Do you have one?
I can cross a few off the list to begin with. No Attack on Titan, please. No Westeros from Game of Thrones. No, definitely not. Love both those shows, but I would not want to live there.
Ooh, My Hero Academia.
That seems nice.
But I have a superpower, and it's cool.
What would be your quirk?
What would be? I don't know. I would like the quirk where, like Mitsuri, where I can just eat as much food as I want. Endless amounts of food.
That'd be pretty great. For me, gosh. Do you guys know a show called Bakano?
Yeah.
Like the mid-2000s? Yeah.
Woo.
Yes, you're right. Yes. It's hard to find nowadays. If you have your physical DVDs, hold on to them very tightly. But it's a really fun show, though, and it's basically about like bootleggers who inadvertently run across the Philosopher's Stone. And so it's kind of like this old school, almost feels like a golden age Hollywood movie, but like with fantastical elements. And they get to use old-timey accents, and yeah, that was a really cool show.
Old-timey accents.
And a whole bunch of the action takes place on a train, and I do love trains. I do. Way before I played Enmu, I always loved traveling by train. I'm not sure if the powers that be knew that when they cast me, but yes. But yeah, I'd say that the universe of that show would be a lot of fun, very much so. And Moriarty the Patriot, I would say too. I'm a big Sherlock Holmes fan, so it'd be fun to live in a world where those characters walk among
Oh, I
us.
know, but I'm saying it fits.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite anime? And it doesn't have to be one that you voice.
That's That's another hard one. I really like Cowboy Bebop. Like, it's kind of like a classic, one of the first animes I've ever seen. It's just so cool, the vibes, you know, the tone. I also, if we're talking movies, Princess Mononoke is one of my favorite movies. I also love Millennium Actress by Satoshi Kon. I got to voice Chiyoko in that when they dubbed it, awesome. Young Chiyoko, and it was like a dream come true. It was so crazy. And then another Satoshi Kon one, Paprika is rad. Paprika, crazy soundtrack. I'm
gonna piggyback on that, and there's a show called Paranoia Agent that he did, which is phenomenal. Yeah. If you're a David Lynch fan and you're kind of mourning him right now, that would be a good way. That'd be a good balm for your wounds right now. Would be to check out Paranoia Agent. It's fantastic. It's all about mass hysteria, and it's very spooky and unsettling and cerebral.
Unsettling. A lot of his stuff is very unsettling.
Deeply,
he does it well.
Yeah. I actually went to see Perfect Blue recently in theaters because it was back for its anniversary, and it was kind of creepy because usually, you know, when voice actors go out in public, we don't get recognized. But somebody recognized me at that show after the movie, and I was kind of on edge. It's like, oh yes, hello, yes. Because that's nice, you know, about voice acting is that we get relative anonymity. We can come to places like this and be recognized, but we're not going to usually be, you know, at the grocery store or something, and somebody's like, hey, wait a minute. Maybe if we're talking, but usually if we're just out and about and silent, not usually. Absolutely, good question. Hello.
One question for each of you. So,
yeah.
What was it like getting to perform the opening theme in Smash Ultimate?
That was another dream job of mine, because never in my life, I'm a huge Nintendo fan, did I think that I would ever sing a song for Nintendo, for a Nintendo. That's just, even when I say it out loud now, it sounds insane. Yeah, it was crazy, and I also didn't know what I was auditioning for when I submitted. I sent my singing demo first, which got me a callback, and then they, for the callback, wanted to hear the theme song to Neon Genesis Evangelion, but like 3 steps higher. And then I submitted that, but I almost didn't, because that day I was a little vocally not 100%, and I was not happy with what I'd recorded for my audition because it wasn't perfect in my mind. And I was like hemming and hawing over it, and I emailed the studio and I said, I'm so sorry, I don't think I can submit, like this isn't. And then they emailed me back and they were like, Abby, just send it. Just send the audition. And I was like, okay. So I sent it, and this is a lesson that I learned. Do not be a perfectionist. Don't even try. There is no perfect. If you try to be perfect, you will never create anything ever. Nothing will ever get finished. So take the risk, send the thing. I booked the job. They told me what it was for, and I cried. I got to record with Greg Chun. You guys know Greg?
Master Muzan.
And a million other things. He's also a very talented musician and composer.
Yeah.
He's written music for like I Think You Should Leave and stuff.
Just like the best sketch comedy series ever. Oh,
he's great. He was the musical director that day, and we recorded it, and I was like, it's one of those things where when I hear the song now, I still get nervous because it's so surreal to me in my brain that I got to do that. So yeah, that's how it was.
Oh, thank you so much.
And also, what's your favorite Dandadan moment so far that's been seen in the anime thus far? And if you were to work in the anime world, would you still legally change your name to Dandadan?
Early on, I said when I knew the dub was coming, I'm like, oh yeah, if I ever get to be a part of it, yeah, I would change my Twitter name to Landon or Landadon, I guess would be the right way to do it. Landadon. Let me see. Well, thank you for mentioning Honey Lemon Soda. That's a really super cute show. And Chris Hackney, who's also here, is wonderful as the lead. And Monica Flatley is fantastic also. This is one of her first big roles, so definitely check out that show. Let's see. What your question though was about Dandadan. That's happened so far? Okay, I've read the manga too, because I really, yeah. But no spoilers, no spoilers. Gosh. So far, I would say Gigi's introduction. Yeah, I mean, Alex plays it really well, but I'm not surprised. That's the kind of character.
Perfect casting.
Yes.
Like, he basically is Gigi.
He can play that character in his sleep, but yeah, he's fantastic. But for me though, yeah, I still would for sure. Names aren't spoilers, so Saint Germain would be a lot of fun. That's all I'll say. Yeah, what's up?
So, if you had to work with any anime, who would it be?
Work with
To work with them as like a henchman?
Yes.
Ooh. Who's the one that doesn't kill his subordinates?
Yeah,
Not
right.
Muzan.
I would work with Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter because as Machi, I can keep his ass in line.
Good. Yeah, that's a very good pick. I'll go back to Bakano. Lad Russo, I think would be a lot of fun to work for. And that's one of my favorite dub performances, frankly. Brian Massey is just phenomenal as that character. Another evildoer who really, really likes their work. Maybe a little too much.
I know my questions are villain-related, but villains are better than heroes.
I love villains.
Villains are better than heroes, and yet you're wearing a Naruto sweatshirt.
No, villains are my bread and butter.
Villains are super fun. I hear you on that one.
Yeah.
Anytime I get to voice a meanie, a baddie, I am like loving it, savoring it.
Well, for the record, I have Madara's underneath the sweater.
I see. Lurking beneath. Yes. But no, I love playing villains. We have a lot more fun in the booth. Our lines are not always as long as the heroes, but we have a lot more fun in the booth.
This question is for either of you.
Yes.
I'm here on behalf of my daughter who wants to be a voice actor.
Hi there.
This question is for her. Is there a market that lends itself more to voice acting in Atlanta, LA, New York, or in this virtual world? Do you feel like it's wide open? Anyone can have a shot.
There was a time during COVID where a lot of doors that were usually shut were opened to remote talent, international talent, and we got some amazing dubs out of that. Now though, because things have stabilized, it is still probably if you want to have a shot at really making this your career, it is best to be set up in one of the big hubs, which is LA, the DFW area, New York to some extent. That's where you should go. But don't go there right away though. You can still build up a career, on your own from anywhere. But once it really solidifies, once you know that you can make the leap financially and that you have the skills to follow through with it, then yeah, it is probably best to move to one of the hubs, which can be difficult and can be daunting, but it's still probably the best way to approach it. Yeah, but just make sure you're ready before you make the leap.
Yes, and definitely look for opportunities online too,
Yeah.
because before you get an agent and all that jazz, you might find some low-paying but existing opportunities. Just make sure to protect yourself from AI usage stuff.
Yeah, watch out for
Very
that.
bad.
Read your contracts. Yeah.
We're moving back to New York.
I love New York, man.
Out of all your guys' characters, whose wardrobe you guys want? So they have Nezuko's outfit, Momo's outfit.
Momo's so cool though. I love Momo's outfit so much. I don't know if I'm cool enough to pull them off, but she's got style, that girl.
For me, which of my characters would I want to cosplay? Or
They're
still the wardrobe in general? Rohan goes through more wardrobe changes than Cher during one of her concerts. It's crazy. He doesn't wear anything for longer than 5 minutes. He's always going through costume changes. So I would say him, just because of the sheer variety. Although I would probably need to get a whole new house just for his closet. Absolutely.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. To what extent do you think that anime is art? And then presuming that the answer is not absolutely not, how does it feel to be involved in the production and the creation of that end product that the audience sees?
I think anime is absolutely art, and especially, animation. Demon Slayer, the animation is insane. It's so good. It's so pretty, and it's not just the animation either. It's the music, that everything that goes into it. It's all a form of expression. It's art. What was the second part of it?
How does it feel to be involved in the creation of that product?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, sometimes we have these, kind of pinch me moments. I mentioned Dragon Ball Daima. No spoilers, but I guess a spoiler for the first episode. My character Degasu at one point summons Shinra. And that's something that you never think you're going to get to do, like, in a professional setting, to call upon the dragon himself. But so that was one of those moments where I kind of had to stop for a second and be like, okay, you're really lucky to get to do this for a living.
Did you slap yourself across the face? Just
I had to. I didn't pinch myself, I just slapped myself, yeah. But yeah, there's moments like that you have to treasure for sure. And I remember going to see Mugen Train in theaters. It was right after lockdown ended, and there were pretty much only 2 movies in theaters at that point. It was Mugen Train and I think Mortal Kombat. And so like every other theater was playing our dub, and so I just heard our voices coming out from all these theaters walking in. It was my childhood theater. I went in there with my parents and with some members of my family, and it was a magical evening, one I will always remember. But to stay on brand though for Enmu, we went to get dinner at Union Station in Kansas City before we went, so I had dinner at Train Station, and then went to see Mugen Train, so had to stay on brand for the boy.
How's your voice acting career been going since we last saw you?
Have you managed to what we've taught you? Have you passed on what you've learned?
I now have $1 million.
Excellent! Oh my gosh. May I borrow some money?
We share. Anime does not pay well.
No, it does not.
So, as you know, by all technicalities, AI is here to stay whether we like it or not. But the thing is, and this is more of a two-part question, in your opinions in the voice acting industry, is there any form of ethical use for AI, such as cleaning up, audio clips and other things as that? And how can we, as both consumers and people who want to get into voice acting, help protect the practice from being monopolized and absolutely abused by massive companies that want to be as inexpensive as all hell?
Yeah, see that's the part. So I don't hate AI. I'm not anti-AI, but some of the use of AI is what's upsetting. As in, don't steal art from artists. It's about fair compensation and fair usage, really. So even in voiceover, I think that there's a place for AI for like phone systems and stuff like that requires so much voiceover, and if there's a fair contract in place for the actor and fair usage, then I'm all for it. But that's what we're fighting for currently. It's hard to get those things because a lot of these companies want to basically do things as cheaply as possible. So it's hard to navigate. We're still navigating it, and I would say just know your worth, know your values, and stick to those, because it's very easy to be taken advantage of.
If something seems too good to be true, it probably is. When you're reading your contracts, when it seems like, oh my gosh, this could be the opportunity of a lifetime. Well, it may also be that you're getting in bed with some, less than savory elements. I will say, also, when it comes to AI, it definitely has its uses. Double checking your medical diagnoses, there are all these different kinds of AI out there, and it's a mistake, I think, to lump them all together. But when it comes to generative AI, particularly, that's a plagiarism machine. It's not the devil, but it's pretty close. And I don't think we should be getting into bed with it. Because it really is, it's stealing people's work. It's stealing the work of artists, whether it be, actual physical artists, vocal artists, whatever it may be. So I think, we should definitely, try to rein it in before it runs roughshod over all of us. Also, it's really interesting. We're early on. I think now the fan base has kind of caught on to the fact that we're not crazy about AI, but I remember in the early days, people would come up to me and be like, oh wait, there's an AI Enmu voice online. Do you want to hear it? I don't hear that anymore. Yeah. Because it's an unsettling feeling for sure. It's, it feels like something out of Perfect Blue or a David Lynch movie, a doppelganger. Something out there that looks like you and sounds like you, but it sure as hell not you. You have no control over it.
Especially when you didn't consent to it.
There was no consent given.
Not cool.
Yeah. So it's, it can be a very unsettling feeling.
Because I do know, and I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that Japan's voice acting unions and all that have managed to somehow, some way, go against, bigger companies with AI usage. Like they somehow nab that in the bud while they still could.
I'm missing some of the police, correct me. I feel like some of that could probably be applied here as well.
We're trying.
Yeah. I think early on there would have been, a way to kind of curtail it and kind of, head it off at the pass. Now it's just kind of trying to, control it. You can't, you want it to be regulated at all costs. But there would have been a time early on there where you could have cut it off at the knees, and I'm afraid that time's kind of passed. So now we kind of need to, the sooner the better. It's kind of like triage. You gotta stop the bleeding.
At that point, it's just trying to actually get stuff into law.
Yeah.
Yeah, legislation would help.
It'd be lovely.
But yeah.
I just don't have faith in our government right now to pass that.
It's not a priority.
No, not really a priority.
Yeah. So that's where we stand.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
Absolutely, thank you. Ooh, your dress is my favorite Hashira.
How's the neck?
My question is, when you're not voice acting, what do you guys enjoy doing or hobbies that you enjoy doing?
What do we enjoy doing when we're not acting?
When you're not voice acting.
When we're not voice acting? I like to, if I have time, play video games. I read a lot. I watch TV shows. I try to stay, I'm watching Spider-Man now, and Severance, Severance. So disturbing.
It's so funny because you see like this amazing episode of television and it's like, oh my gosh, this is like crazy, incredible gut punching, and then it's like directed by Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I love music, and I used to play shakuhachi a lot, but I haven't picked it up in a while, and I need to do that because I really miss music. That was one of my favorite pastimes for a while. I think since COVID, I've been really bad about playing, so must change that. What do you like to do?
For me, oh gosh, I'm a big fan of revival cinema, which is like watching old movies actually on film. When I was in LA, I almost paid rent pretty much at the New Bev, which is the theater that Quentin Tarantino owns. Anything shown there is shown on film, even newer stuff. And in Dallas, I've also discovered a place called the Texas Theater. It's where they caught Lee Harvey Oswald back in the day. He was watching a movie called War is Hell, but that's not important. I think it's interesting. So I go there a lot because they also show things on film and they show old movies, and there's a revival community out there. I also love writing screenplays. 2 of my scripts have actually been finalists in the every year the Nickel Fellowship is put on, which is the Academy. The same people who put on the Oscars put on this screenwriting contest. And yeah, 2 of mine have been finalists in 2 different years.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. So it's a fun hobby that might eventually be something more than a hobby, but for right now, I just, do it for the love of the game.
Sell those scripts.
Yes. I wish CESD had a lit department. That'd be fun. Oh, well. Hello.
Can you say that one more time?
Oh, spoilers? Oh, we gotta tread lightly.
Spoilers?
Spoilers for Demon Slayer?
No. What would happen if we said spoilers? We get it.
I was gonna say, yeah. Our contracts aren't written in blood, but it's close.
Yeah, we can't spoil anything.
Yeah.
I can say one thing. I heard that the animation for Infinity Castle is nuts. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, this is just the fact that, a whole trilogy, that's so cool. Kind of finish things off that way. It's going to be awesome. I wonder, and I'm just purely speculating, but it sure would be fun, though, if it ended up in IMAX, the IMAX one.
Ooh, yeah, it would look so good in
Pure
IMAX.
speculation, but that'd be pretty cool.
Please. Please, IMAX gods.
Hear our prayer.
Okay, first, I just want to reiterate something Landon said earlier. For anyone in this room, if you can find a way to talk about it, it's so good. Also, it takes place on a train called the Flying Sequence.
That's right. I forgot about that.
A name saucy enough to match. But my question is, so you're both part of Demon Slayer and part of the other series, big series of very popular to a lot of people. Is there any series, show, movie, series, anything
that taking before your acting tenure that you would have loved to have been a part of if it was like, if you were there at the time? And like you look back and you go, that would have been a cool thing to be in.
Samurai Jack.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what I would have played in Samurai Jack, but oh my gosh, I love that. I love that cartoon.
For me, anime-wise, growing up, Pegasus and Yu-Gi-Oh! He's so fabulous, I would have loved to have played him. And while it is impossible to improve on Johnny Young Bosch, in a show called Dorarara, Izaya would be a lot of fun to play. That little weasel, so good.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Hi, how's your voice acting career going since your dad asked that question?
Good.
Great, awesome.
Are you aware that there are actually fan songs for your characters out there?
They're fan songs?
Fan songs.
I was not aware until now.
Yeah. They should get one for
Can you sing one for me? No, I'm just kidding. Wait, specifically for Demon Slayer or other stuff?
like variety.
Oh. I didn't know that. I'm gonna have to look up some fan songs.
And also, I have a question. What would you say was your funniest line? Like funniest.
Oh man, one of my favorite, I have two that pop into my head, is, that's a gold-plated dude nut! That's really funny. Also, want me to feed you while you get swole? That one was fun. Yeah, there's so many good lines. And the writer, adapter, Alex Von David, like, he's got a really good sense of humor, so, yeah.
One of my favorite LA directors, he's so much fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Are you guys like close with like your cast for each show, or is there like a show or series that you guys are like closer with cast-wise than others? You know what I mean?
It's hard to say, like we work, so when we dub anime, we dub by ourselves, because you can't really record two people at the same time dubbing, but we see each other a lot at events like this. So some actors, like I'll see more often than others. Like I've seen Alex Lee a fair amount, so like we're a little closer than I might be with some other voice actors. Yeah, it's hard to say. It depends on the show. Do you have any besties?
Yeah, it really does depend. That's what's really nice about these cons, is that we actually get to, put a face to the name or a name to the voice, or however you want to say it. But yeah, that's a big part of it, because obviously the main thing about cons is getting to meet you guys, but also it's fun to get to meet, our peers, or at least to get to know them better. For me right now, because I'm in Kaiju number 8, we're doing, we're doing a lot of cons right now together as a cast, and it's been really fun to get to know them, because it's a nice mix of veteran talent and newer talent, and it's really fun to kind of see the younger folks, the newer folks going through it, and realizing that, this is kind of it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like running away with the circus or something. It's a fun way to live. Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool tats.
Love the tats.
So my question's kind of like technical.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're voice recording, do you see the animation as you say it, or do you say it without seeing any of the animation and then it gets like matched up after?
For dubbing?
Yeah.
Usually, we have the animation in front of us, and we're trying to match the timing to the lip flaps. La, 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 la. Rarely, as in a project that I worked on recently, the animation is not complete yet, and you are guessing for the flaps. You're just listening to the Japanese audio for the timing of it, and trying to match the timing because the animation is not quite finished yet. So that's rare.
Yeah, I've been there. That's a challenge for sure. But yeah, most of what we do is, when it comes to dubbing anyway, it's right in front of us, and we're just trying to match those lip flaps as best we can. And what's nice is we also have the Japanese right there. So even if someone were to speak the language, are you bilingual?
Hi.
Oh. That's a big advantage.
Really
because
rusty though.
Yeah. That's a big advantage though, because you know exactly what the intonation is, what the intention is. You can really understand where they're coming from. Whereas with me though, it's more, I don't know Japanese, but I, can intuit usually, what they're all about. And you can stay, pretty faithful to the seiyuu. It just depends on the client, it depends on the director. My Future Devil sounds very different than the Japanese version. Whereas with Enmu, we stick pretty close to what, to what those folks are doing. Daisuke Hirakawa, by the way, the guy who plays Enmu in Japanese, he is the dub voice for Tom Hiddleston. So if you see Tom Hiddleston speaking Japanese, it's Enmu. Japanese Enmu.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Fun facts. How are we doing on time, by the way?
Yeah, I thought we were going to see an elephant.
I haven't seen any elephants. I think, what time are we supposed to end? 3:30? Okay, we have 8 minutes left.
Coming
So
down to the
we
wire.
got time for some more questions.
This next one's not available this time.
Oh.
But if there's one anime character you could relate to, which one? Relate to, you understand.
I relate to, I think as an actor, we relate to all of the characters we voice in some way. But I find Momo very relatable, especially when I think back to high school Abby and all her awkwardness and her inability to express emotions effectively. Yeah, I would say Momo.
I mean, speaking of villains, it is difficult though, because sometimes, no matter who you're playing, no matter how, unhinged or conniving or pure evil they are, in order to make the performance authentic, in order for it to be a character and not a caricature, you do have to find a sliver of commonality with them, somehow. With Enmu, I can't really identify with wanting to eat 200 people on board a train to please my dark master. But I can certainly see, okay, what it would be like to want a promotion, to impress the boss, to impress maybe a crush. And so that's relatable. That's a sliver of commonality you can find. For me, though, the character that I identified with the most, that's a hard one. I would say probably, though, in some ways, Hoshino in Kaiju number 8. Because early on, he felt like he was, for those of you who don't know, he's like a sword fighting prodigy in an age where sword fighting is no longer kind of the norm. It's no longer really, it's effective against smaller kaiju and medium-sized kaiju, but in general, though, it's kind of, thought to be kind of a lost art or an inferior, fighting form. And for me, early on in my career, I felt kind of overlooked and underestimated, and it took finding people who were willing to take a chance on me, to kind of find your tribe or whatever you want to say. That's what it took to finally succeed in this business. And Hoshino found Mina, who was the leader of the captain of the 3rd Division, and she took a chance on him and brought him aboard. And everything good in his life professionally came from that. And there are people in this business who I feel the same way about, where it's like, if I had never met you, I don't know where I'd be today. So that's definitely the commonality I find with him.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Do you have a dish that you consider like a pre-workout food for a gym person before you voice act?
There are things not to eat,
Yes.
like yogurt or milk or orange juice, things that will make your throat have a weird gross bubble in it.
Avoid soda. Mouth noises can come from soda. It can make you, just best to avoid it. In general, but especially before work. I would also say, God, I love spicy food, but sometimes right before a session, not the best idea.
Anything that's gonna make your stomach go
Yep.
in the middle of a session, the mic picks that up, so yeah.
That's the thing, because we're recording on these super sensitive mics, these Neumann, TLM 103s or the big U87s, and they will pick up anything and everything that's going on with you physiologically.
So if you could also do Hollywood live action, was that something you'd also want to do, or you'd go with the voice acting? I feel like I'd be with the voice acting, but...
I'm very satisfied by voiceover, but I'm not opposed to doing on-camera stuff. It's just that takes so much time and commitment that to pursue it is like a big thing. But I don't know, I've done short films here and there for friends and stuff, and that's always fun. So I'm not opposed to it, but my focus, for now at least, is voiceover.
Yeah, I went to USC film school there, and I was in a bunch of student films and had fun. But I also realized pretty early on, I was like, on camera is not really my bag. In fact, I think I was one of the first things I was in. Not professionally, but it was a project. But it was a video game that was being developed at USC. It was called Paradolia, and I was the narrator. And it was kind of during those sessions where I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, this feels more comfortable. This is fun. People still get typecast in voice acting, for sure. But on-camera folks, I think it's even easier for them to get typecast. So that's kind of one of my concerns about that. And with voiceover, yeah, I mean, you can also pretty much do it and tell, as long as you have a voice, we have people working well into their 80s. I mean, it's crazy.
Nice, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm afraid that's about all the time we have for questions today. Can we get another big round of applause for Landon and Abby?
Great question.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody.
All right, guys. One very important announcement I need to make to you guys. If you want to come see Landon and Abby, the autographs area is in the Riverview Ballroom. It is not in the dealer's room like it was last year. Come see us in the Riverview Ballroom, okay? All right. Thank you guys so much for coming. We'll see you down at the ballroom. We'll see you at the autographs.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.